So we can start now.
Keep quiet.
Okay, so today's lesson is going to be on snow and the story, and we're going to be looking at the video and going over some vocabulary that was used in the story. So we'll get a chance to do that. So
Want
first,
to join, you can join.
first is the story. So let's
Keep quiet and listen.
let's look at the video first.
What's up?
Hi, Jira. We brought you here today.
Okay, so here is the video, and it will last around 15 minutes. So I hope
So
you.
quiet.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, so I hope everyone was able to hear the story and enjoy it. But now we're going to be moving on to some vocabulary words that was used in the story. So the first word is called realm, and it is a noun. And a realm is like a big special area or world where certain things happen or where certain people or creatures live. It can be real or imaginary. So, for example, the lion is the king of his realm in the savannah. So, the savannah is the lion's realm, so we can call it that. And here are two pictures over here. And this is how it is used in the story. So let's take a look.
Skunk really got her.
Yep.
Lovely, and all the people of the realm adored her. The only very kind and lovely, and all the people of the realm adored her.
So you can see here, the narrator says that all the people of the realm adored her. So this means that all the people of that area, here the realm means like that kind of special area or that big palace, and everyone in that place adored her. So that is realm. Now for startle, startle is a verb, and to startle means to surprise someone suddenly, and it often makes them jump a little bit because they weren't expecting it. So, for example, the loud noise startled the cat and it ran away. And here are two pictures over here. And let's take a look at how it is used in the story. So over here.
Suddenly, a beautiful snowbird sat on the window, startling the queen. Suddenly, a beautiful snowbird sat on the window, startling the queen.
So it says here, suddenly a beautiful snowbird sat on the window, startling the queen. So here, startle means to scare somebody. So kind of the snowbird scared the queen and made her jump back a little bit. So that is meaning startle or startling. And the next word is distract, and it is a verb. So to distract means to take someone's attention away from what they're doing. And it happens when something else grabs their focus, making it hard to keep pay attention. So, for example, the loud music distracted him while he was trying to read. So you can see on the two bottom pictures here, these are like different kind of distractions, and all these different things or people are distracting him. So this is how it is used in the story. Let's take a look.
Queen. The bird distracted the queen's attention, and she pricked her finger, startling the queen. The bird distracted the queen's attention, and she pricked her finger. A drop. Queen. The bird distracted the queen's attention, and she pricked her finger. A drop of blood fell down.
So you can kind of see here, the bird kind of like distracted her from sewing. So distract again here meaning that the bird kind of took the queen's attention away to something else. And the next word is fulfill, and it is a verb. So to fulfill means to complete something or make it happen, especially when it is a goal, wish, or promise. So for example, he worked hard to fulfill his dream of becoming a teacher. So you can see in this bottom picture here, so 10 years later, this boy fulfilled his sort of dream of possibly being a baseball player. So fulfill again means to complete something like a wish, or a goal or promise. So here is how it is used in the story.
Our dream of having a baby is about to be fulfilled. Our dream of having a baby is about to be fulfilled.
So you can see how this is used in the story, about to be fulfilled. Here kind of like the queen always dreamed of having a baby, but now that she's pregnant, she knows that her wish is going to be fulfilled or achieved. And the next word is blossom or bloom, and it is a verb. So blossom or bloom means when a flower opens up, showing its colorful petals, and it also means to grow or develop well. So for example, the flowers will blossom in spring. So here the two pictures kind of show, the left one shows the blossom flower, and on the right shows the process of blooming. So here's how it is used in the story.
Soon the spring blossomed. The flowers bloomed everywhere as they... Soon the spring blossomed. The flowers bloomed everywhere as they are preparing for the baby coming.
So here it is saying the flowers bloomed, and you can see how the flowers are coming to life and showing its beautiful petals, so that is blooming or blossoming. And the next word is ebony, and it is a noun. And ebony is a very dark and hard type of wood, usually from trees that grow in warm places. And it is often used to make beautiful furniture and musical instruments. And it can also describe a very sort of dark color. And it is similar to the color black. So, for example, the piano is made of shiny ebony wood. So this is ebony wood right here at the bottom. And let's see how it is used in the story.
Baby girl who had skin white as snow, lips red as blood, and hair as black as ebony.
So here is described as baby, and how the hair is black as ebony. And here it describes some sort of characteristic of the hair and how it is very dark in color. That is ebony. And the next word is precious, and it is an adjective. So precious means something that is very valuable or loved a lot. So for example, she keeps her precious necklace in a safe place. So here kind of describing some sort of treasure. So you can see how these are kind of being precious as something very valuable or loved. So let's see how it is used in the story.
My queen, you have given me the most precious gift ever. My queen, you have given me the most precious gift ever.
So here how the king is saying that how the queen has given him the most precious gift ever. It's like the most valuable, the most beautiful, or most loved kind of gift. So yeah, that was precious, an adjective. And now moving on to the next word, untimely. So untimely means happening at a time that is not suitable or sometimes too early. So for example, the untimely rain ruined their picnic. So you can see on the bottom picture, it's kind of like cooking some skewers or barbecue, but suddenly it started raining, and that was an untimely rain because it was happening at a time that is not suitable. And this is how it is used in the story. Let's take a look.
For a few years, the king was very sad about the queen's untimely death. For a few years, the king was very sad about the queen's untimely death.
So here saying few years, the king was very sad about the queen's untimely death. And untimely here again means that it happened that at a time that is too early and that was not suitable, not the right time. So, but here it mostly means that it happened too early. So that is untimely. And the next word is upbringing, and it is noun. So upbringing refers to how a child is raised and taught by their parents or caregivers. So for example, her kind personality comes from her loving upbringing. So you can see these two pictures here, and it kind of describes the word upbringing because it refers to how a child is raised. So this is upbringing, and let's see where it is used in the story.
He realized that his daughter needed a loving mother for upbringing, so he decided to marry again. That his daughter needed a loving mother for upbringing.
So here in the story, it's kind of describing how Snow White needed a loving mother for upbringing because the king didn't have a chance to take care of her. So he needed someone for the upbringing or someone to take care of the child. That was upbringing. And now the next word is arrogant. So arrogant is an adjective, and arrogant means having an overly high opinion of oneself. And these arrogant people think that they are better than others. So, for example, his arrogant behavior made it hard for others to like him. So here are two pictures here, a man kind of pointing to himself, suggesting that he believes he is the best at everything. And on the right here is like a similar picture of how someone is taking up one spot, kind of being arrogant and having just the high opinion about himself. But these type of people do not care about other people. So that is the word arrogant. And let's see how it is used in the story.
But more than that, she was very arrogant and a cruel woman. But more than that, she was very arrogant and a cruel woman.
So this adjective is used to describe the queen and how she is very arrogant. And again, kind of here, arrogant means kind of like thinking just about themselves and not for others. So they think that they are better than other people. And the next word is predict. and it is a verb. So to predict means to say what will happen in the future based on knowledge or science. So, for example, the weather forecast can predict rain for tomorrow. And you can actually see an example of a weather forecast on the bottom left. And you can see this man currently is predicting the rain for the next day. So by using sort of map, he knows when it's going to rain for tomorrow, and he's kind of predicting it. So kind of like guessing and expecting what to happen in the future. So this is how it is used in the story. Let's take a look.
Mirror that predicts and tells the truth whenever and whatever she wants to know. Magic mirror, dark magic, and with that she controlled the king. She also owned a magic mirror that predicts and tells the truth.
So it describes how the queen owned a magic mirror that predicts whatever she wanted to know. So predict here, again, meaning say something, say that something will happen in the future based on what they know currently. So that is predict. And the next word is fair or fairest. If you want to say the most fair, then you add est and it'll turn out as fairest. And it is an adjective. So in terms of beauty, fair means someone or something that is very beautiful, lovely, or attractive. And it can also refer to having a light skin tone. So for example, the fair princess was admired by everyone in the kingdom. So here, fair is kind of used to describe Snow White because the queen wanted a fair baby, so she got what she wanted, and her skin was very fair. So let's see how it is used in the story.
My dear mirror, oh mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of all? My dear mirror, oh mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of all?
So the queen here is asking the mirror because the mirror can predict anything. So the mirror can predict anything and tell her the truth. So the queen is asking the mirror, who's the fairest of all? Meaning who is the most beautiful? So she wants to know because she's very arrogant and she wants to know who is the most beautiful in the world. So that is fair and fairest. Now the next word is shelter, and it is a noun. And shelter means a place that provides protection or safety from bad weather or any sort of danger. So for example, they found shelter from a storm under a big tree. So here are kind of two shelters, one in kind of like the woods and one possibly underground in terms of natural disasters or any sort of danger. So this is how it is used in the story. Let's take a look.
And went inside for shelter with the birds. She saw a strange little house and went inside for shelter with the birds.
So Snow White went inside for shelter, and here kind of shelter meaning a very safe place that provides protection because Snow White escaped from the queen. Well, she ran away from the kingdom and she needed a shelter, so she found one that gives her some sort of protection. That was shelter. And the next word is tidy. So tidy is an adjective, and tidy means to keep things neat and organized. So for example, she likes to keep her room tidy and clean. So here are two pictures. On the left, there's a woman kind of cleaning and keeping everything so tidy. And on the right, here's kind of like a comparison, untidy and tidy. You can see kind of like the difference of organizing and being neat. So here's the video explaining this.
There was a little table with a tidy white tablecloth and 7 little plates with food on it. Against Inside the house, everything was small but tidy. There was a little table with a tidy white tablecloth.
So this is used to describe the house of the 7 dwarfs and how everything was tidy. Again, everything that was clean and neat and organized. So everything was tidy. The next word is exhausted, and it is an adjective. So exhausted means to be very tired or worn out from work or activity. So for example, after running a marathon, he felt completely exhausted. So meaning that he was very, very tired. So let's take a look at the story.
Milk. She was exhausted after wandering the forest, so she lay down on one of the little beds and fell fast asleep. Wandering the forest. Little cup, she drank a little bit of milk. She was exhausted after wandering the forest.
So this is used to describe Snow White and how she was so exhausted after wandering in the forest. So she was very, very exhausted, meaning that she was very tired after walking all day. And the next word is wonder, and it is a verb. So to wonder means to walk around without a specific direction or purpose. So for example, they like to wander in the park and enjoy nature. And you can see kind of in the picture here at the bottom, you can see 2 people wandering. Yeah. So we were just on the word wonder, and to kind of go over it again, it was a verb. And to wander means to walk around without having specific direction or any sort of purpose. So you can see pictures down at the bottom. These people are wandering or just walking around without any direction or purpose. So let's take a look at the video and how it is used in the story.
Milk. She was exhausted after wandering the forest.
So you can see kind of here the word wandering used, how she was exhausted after wandering in the forest, kind of like walking around in the forest aimlessly. So yeah, wandering means kind of just walking around without any direction. The next word is dwarf or dwarves for plural nouns, and it is a noun. And a dwarf refers to a small person or living creature, and it often is found in stories or myths. So for example, the dwarves in the story were known for their mining skills. So these are kind of like the 7 dwarves that you saw in the story. So and here's
After the dark, the owners of the house, the 7 dwarfs, returned home. After the dark, the owners of the house, the 7 dwarfs, returned home.
So you can see kind of here in the story, it is used to say how the 7 dwarves returned home because Snow White was sleeping in their house. So again, dwarves are very like short people and kind of like small person or creature that is often in stories. So that is dwarf or dwarves. The next word is disguise, and it is a verb. So to disguise means to change the appearance of someone or something so that they look different. So for example, she wore a mask to disguise her identity at the party. So this is kind of like what people use to disguise themselves. On the left, kind of like sunglasses and the beard and kind of like a mustache. And on the right is also kind of like a mask used to disguise a person or to change the appearance to look different. So this is how it is used in the story.
Then with her magic, she disguised herself as an old peddler woman. Then with her magic, she disguised herself as an old peddler woman.
So here is kind of using the word disguise as she is turned into a peddler woman. So she is changing her appearance to look like a peddler woman. So again, here is kind of like she's changing the appearance. So that was disguise. And peddler, we just talked about it in the story, but it is a noun. And a peddler is a person who sells goods or any sort of stuff, often by going from place to place. So, for example, the peddler came to town selling fresh fruit. So you can see on the bottom left and right, people are selling any sort of stuff, and they are often moving from place to place to sell those stuff. And this is actually used in the same sentence as before. So here, with her magic, the queen disguised herself as an old peddler woman. So peddler here, again, meaning someone who just sells goods. And she disguised herself as a peddler woman because she didn't want Snow White to notice her. And she's bringing the poisonous apple to her. That is peddler. And the next vocabulary word is forbid. And forbid is a verb. And to forbid means to say that something is not allowed, while forbidden, the other version, describes something that is not permitted. So, for example, my parents forbid me to stay out late. Again, kind of saying how it is not allowed at all. And here is how it is used in the story, so let's take a look.
Let anyone in. The 7 dwarfs have forbidden me to do so. That's all right with me. Here. The 7 dwarfs have forbidden me to do so.
So Snow White is kind of talking about how the dwarfs have forbidden Snow White to open the door. So forbidden here kind of again, meaning to completely prevent or making something not allowed. So Snow White is not allowed to open the door at all. That is forbid. And the next word is weep, and it is a verb. And to weep means to cry, often quietly or with sadness. So, for example, she began to weep when she heard the sad news. Again, kind of like crying. And you can see these bottom 2 pictures. They're crying because something very sad happened. And let's take a look at how it is used in the story. So here it is.
Longingly, they talked to her, shook her, and wept over her, but up and looked at her longingly. They talked to her, shook her, and wept over her.
So it's talking about how the 7 dwarves wept over Snow White. And the word wept is kind of like past tense of weep. So you can say someone wept over her. Or just in present tense, you would say she began to weep. So, but the word weep is a verb meaning to cry, often with sadness. So that is weep. And the next word, kind of similar, is called mourn, and it is also a verb. And to mourn means to feel sadness or grief for someone who has died. That is specifically someone who has died. And for example, they mourn the loss of their beloved pet. So kind of like it's regarding someone's death and kind of mourn over, feel sadness over it or grief. You can see kind of here at the bottom picture, they're mourning. So this is how it is used in the story. Let's take a look.
And all 7 sat next to her and mourned for her and cried for 3 days. And all 7 sat next to her and mourned for her and cried for 3 days.
So here it is used to describe how all the 7 dwarves sat next to her and mourned for her and cried for 3 days. So mourn here because they are assuming that everyone believed that Snow White was dead. So kind of like they're mourning over her. So, yeah, that was the word mourn. The next word is transparent, and it is an adjective. So transparent means clear or see-through, and often allowing light to pass through. So for example, the glass was so transparent that you could see right through it. So it used to describe mostly glass because glasses are transparent. And you can also see like this piggy bank kind of being transparent, kind of like the container being transparent, but it's mostly the glass that is used to describe something transparent. So let's look at the story.
They made a transparent glass coffin so she could be seen from all sides. They made a transparent glass coffin so she could be seen from all sides.
So here in the story, it is used to describe the glass coffin and how it was transparent. So it uses kind of like the definition here so that she could be seen from all sides. And of course, transparent means able to see through. So transparent glass coffin is how it is used. And the word coffin itself is a noun, and a coffin is a box in which a dead person is placed for burial. So for example, the coffin was decorated with beautiful flowers. So this is like a coffin, and right, there are people carrying the coffin. So here's the video of how it is used, and it's kind of in the same sentence.
They made a transparent glass coffin so she could be seen from all sides.
So again, kind of the same sentence, but now focusing on the word coffin and how the transparent glass coffin was used for Snow White. And the next word, and we are almost done, and it is called stumble. It is a verb, and to stumble means to trip or lose balance after walking. So for example, he stumbled over the uneven ground. So you can see at the bottom pictures, there are people stumbling. So he kind of tripped on the rock, is kind of stumbling, and on the right, the boy is also stumbling because of this protruding rock. So here is how it is used in the story. So let's take a look at that.
That one of them stumbled while picking the coffin and this dislodged the piece of poison. That one of them stumbled while picking the coffin.
So it's used to describe here how the person carrying the coffin stumbled on a rock. So stumble again meaning to lose or trip and lose balance while walking. Kind of like tripping over. And the next word is dislodge, and it is a verb. So to dislodge means to remove or knock something out of its place. So for example, he tried to dislodge the stuck toy from the shelf. So again, dislodge here meaning to move something out of place. So here are two pictures here, kind of trying to move something out of place. And in the story, it is used in the same sentence as before, but now we'll focus on the word dislodge.
That one of them stumbled while picking the coffin, and this dislodged the piece of poisoned apple which she had bitten off. Stumbled while picking the coffin, and this dislodged the piece of poisoned apple which she had bitten off.
So here, it's used to describe how the poisonous apple was dislodged. And it means that the poisonous apple came out of her mouth and out of the place. So again, dislodge means to make something or force something out of its place, knock something out. And kind of here, Snow White, in terms of Snow White, the poisonous apple was dislodged or kind of like went out of her mouth. And the next word is gaze or gaze at something, and it is a verb. And to gaze at means to look at something for a long time, usually with wonder or admiration. So for example, she likes to gaze at the stars on clear nights. So you can see two pictures here, kind of like people gazing or just staring or looking at it, looking at something or anything at a long time. That is gazing. So this is how it is used in the story.
Coffin. He put her under a tree and gazed at her. He ran and caught the coffin. He put her under a tree and gazed at her.
So it is used to describe how the prince put Snow White under the tree and how he gazed at her, meaning kind of like to look at her for a long time because of, in terms of admiration and wonder. So, Snow White was so beautiful that the prince was gazing at her. And now we have 3 more left, and these 3 are kind of like more of phrases. So it'll be in the form of phrasal verb. So the first phrasal verb is called be about to. And the phrase be about to means that someone is just going to do something very soon, like it's almost happening. But it doesn't have to be the word be, or it can be other be verbs. For example, is, are, and am. So you can replace be with those and say is about to, are about to, or am about to. All of those are be verbs, and you can replace them to make a sentence. So for example, she is about to start her homework. And again, this picture kind of here coming soon. And this is how it is used in the story. So let's take a look at that first.
Our dream of having a baby is about to be fulfilled.
So the king in the beginning again, kind of returning to the beginning, how the king is telling, having the dream of having a baby is about to be fulfilled. So it hasn't happened yet. It's almost happening, being about to happen, just about to happen. It's just before something very soon. So can someone come up with an example sentence using the phrasal verb be about to? So can anyone try making a sentence?
Are you here? We are asking you a question. The presentation as well. Can anyone use is about to ask or to form a sentence like what you did on the screen? Yes, so if you can do it, just come closer and do it. Okay? Fast, and go. Have you seen what he did? Yeah, circle that one. Can you come up with an example of the about to? Please don't make me shout. Yes. That's who? Who's ready?
So
You can form a sentence about
it's okay if no one answers. It's fine. So I'll just come up with an example. So you can use you don't have to use again the word be. It can be any other be verbs like is, are, and am. So I can say I am about to eat lunch. So like I am about to You're kind of like about to eat lunch, and here is the be verb right here, am. So I am about to eat lunch, meaning that I am it hasn't happened, but it is very soon going to be happening. Or it is almost just happening. So just before, or kind of like almost happening simultaneously. So kind of happening at the same time or before. So I am about to eat lunch. I have not eaten lunch, and I am about to. So that is how you use the phrasal verb be about to. And kind of moving on to our second phrasal verb, at any cost. So the phrase at any cost means doing something no matter what it takes or regardless of the difficulties. So for example, he wanted to win the game at any cost. So no matter what it takes, that person wanted to win the game. So kind of like that person knows what's going to happen if he continues playing the game, but he wanted to win the game at any cost. It doesn't matter to him what it takes, what disadvantage that he will face, but he still wanted to do it. So you can come up with an example like other examples such as I will do something at any cost. Any word in that format will work. So I will do something at any cost. So you can put anything in this kind of like blank. You can also include I will do something, or I will eat something, or I will just any sort of verb. I will run at any cost. I will do homework at any cost. You can include anything here, and it will work out as a sentence using at any cost. Again, at any cost means doing something no matter what it takes. That is at any cost. And final phrasal verb here is whenever and whatever. So you can see here. And you can add something after that. So whenever something or whatever something. So whenever means at any time, and whatever means anything or everything. So for example, you can tell me whenever you need help with whatever you want. Kind of like uses both of them here. Kind of whenever describing time at any time. So you can call me anytime and you need help with whatever you want. So anything or everything. So you can kind of try to create that on your own, but you can kind of maybe come up with an example sentence in the format of whenever you do something, whenever blank, and you can come up with a reason. So for example, whenever I need help, I call my mother. That's an example sentence. Kind of like, at any time I need help, I will call someone. Or maybe using whatever. Maybe you can say the store always has whatever I want, meaning that the store has everything that I need. So you can kind of work around that sentence to come up with a kind of like your own sentence, possibly using whenever and whatever, and you would add kind of like phrase after, and that would kind of make a phrasal verb. So that was the end of the vocabulary. And before we rewatch the story and the video again, I would like to go over the vocabulary once more, just quickly, so that all of it will be fresh in your minds. So let's go back to the very first. Okay, we started with realm, and the next word was startle. Next word is distract, fulfill, blossom or bloom, ebony, precious, please, untimely, upbringing, arrogant, predict, fair or fairest, shelter, tidy, exhausted, wonder, dwarf or dwarves, disguise, peddler, forbid, weep, mourn, transparent, coffin, stumble, dislodge, gaze at something, be about to, in terms of phrasal verb, at any cost, and finally, whenever or whatever plus something. So this is everything that we have learned that was included in the story. So with that, I hope you guys are able to watch the story better and understand all the vocabulary that was used in the story. So let's watch it once more.
We all have a job to do. You make Riley happy. Sadness makes her sad. Fear protects her from the scary stuff she...
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, so that was the end of the story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it for today. And that was Snow White, and we learned quite a lot of vocabulary in the video and in the story. And for next time and next week, I'm planning to do another story. So, 물어볼까? Is there any stories that you guys want to listen for next week?
It's asking you a question. Is there any story that you guys want me to do for you next week? Which one is that? Huh? What? Come and say it to him. Come and say it to him. Rahel and the what? Rahel. Rahel and the last. Rahel and the last dragon. It's also an English story. They say Rahel and the last dragon. Right? You have a story like that. Rahel and the last dragon.
I am not sure. I will.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I think that it's
Rahel.
rather like a movie. So instead, I will have to choose from any of the shorter stories. So, how about Aladdin? I think I heard someone say that. I wasn't too sure. So, are the kids okay with
Come again.
Aladdin? Hello, can you hear me?
He's suggesting this. He said he will be giving you Aladdin. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
For next week?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So they said they are okay with that for next week.
Okay, so
Hey,
yeah.
where are you going? Where are you going? Who asked you to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are okay with that for next week.
Okay, that sounds good. And if you don't have any other questions, yeah, I'll see everyone next.
What you are doing, I hate it. Do you have any other question? You are all moving. What is that?
No.
Do you have any other question?
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll see all of you next week then. All right.
All right. All right. Yo.
Okay.
This is all that you need. This is all you need.